Osama bin Laden cast a long shadow. He was the world's most wanted man. His name became synonymous with terror. He inspired fear across many nations. His actions changed global politics forever. The need to find him was paramount. It was a matter of global security. The world waited for his capture. The attacks of September 11, 2001, shocked everyone. They were a brutal act of violence. Bin Laden's Al-Qaeda claimed responsibility. Nearly 3,000 innocent lives were lost. The United States vowed to seek justice. This marked the true beginning of the hunt. The world was now acutely aware. Bin Laden was a clear and present danger. The manhunt for bin Laden was unprecedented. It spanned continents and took many years. Intelligence agencies worked day and night. Vast resources were dedicated to this mission. It was a quest for justice for the victims. It was also a mission to prevent future attacks. Osama bin Laden came from a wealthy family. He was born in Saudi Arabia in 1957. His father was a construction magnate. Mohammed bin Laden had many children. Osama inherited a considerable fortune. He grew up in privilege and comfort. His early life gave few clues. Few saw the path he would later take. A shift occurred in his younger years. He became increasingly devout in his faith. He studied religious texts with great interest. He was influenced by radical Islamist thinkers. Figures like Abdullah Azzam played a key role. Azzam preached global jihad against perceived enemies. Bin Laden absorbed these extreme ideologies. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 was pivotal. Bin Laden traveled there to join the Mujahideen. He used his wealth to fund Arab fighters. He gained battlefield experience and respect. He saw the power of guerrilla warfare. He believed a superpower could be defeated. This experience shaped his future ambitions. In the late 1980s, he co-founded Al-Qaeda. After the 9/11 attacks, the U.S. responded swiftly. American forces invaded Afghanistan in October 2001. The Taliban regime, which sheltered Al-Qaeda, was toppled. Al-Qaeda fighters were hunted relentlessly. Osama bin Laden was their primary target. He was believed to be hiding in the mountains. The focus narrowed to a specific region. This was the rugged area of Tora Bora. In December 2001, the Battle of Tora Bora began. U.S. forces with Afghan allies closed in. Bin Laden and his fighters were cornered. They were trapped in a complex cave system. Heavy bombing raids targeted their positions. It seemed his capture was imminent. The fighting was intense and brutal. Many Al-Qaeda members were killed or caught. Despite the massive assault, bin Laden escaped. He slipped through the tightening cordon. How he managed this remains debated. Some say local allies helped him flee. Others point to insufficient U.S. ground troops. The search for Osama bin Laden was long. It was an incredibly difficult 10-year chase. The CIA led the American efforts. Many other global intelligence agencies helped. They dedicated enormous resources to this. Thousands of analysts and operatives worked on it. The pressure to find him never eased. It was a defining mission for a generation. Many challenges made the hunt hard. Bin Laden was hiding in very remote areas. The terrain was rugged and difficult to access. He likely had support from local sympathizers. He was extremely careful about his security. He avoided all forms of electronic communication. This made him very hard to track. Many leads turned into frustrating dead ends. Intelligence agencies used every tool available. They relied on signals intelligence or SIGINT. They used human intelligence or HUMINT. Drones flew countless missions over Pakistan. Interrogations of captured Al-Qaeda members provided clues, but these clues were often small pieces. Section 5. The Courier's Trail, a breakthrough in the long hunt. The big breakthrough came from an unexpected angle. It did not come from high-tech surveillance. Instead, it came from old-fashioned detective work. Intelligence focused on bin Laden's inner circle. They knew he must rely on someone trusted. This person would be his link to the outside. This person was his courier. Identifying this courier became the key. Years were spent trying to find this courier. Analysts sifted through interrogation reports. They listened to countless hours of intercepts. Slowly, a name began to emerge. Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti was his nom de guerre. He was a man bin Laden deeply trusted. The CIA believed he was the main courier. Now the task was to find al-Kuwaiti. Tracking the courier was a painstaking process. It required immense patience and skill. Operatives followed any potential leads. They watched and waited for years. Finally, in 2010, they got a lucky break. They located al-Kuwaiti in a busy Pakistani city. Section 6. Operation Neptune Spear, the raid on Abbottabad. Intelligence analysts studied the Abbottabad compound. They watched it for many months. They saw a tall man often walking inside. They called him the Pacer. They believed this man was Osama bin Laden. The evidence was circumstantial but strong. President Barack Obama had to make a decision. A raid was risky, but so was inaction. The mission was codenamed Operation Neptune Spear. It was assigned to the elite Navy SEAL Team 6. These were some of the best soldiers in the world. They trained for the raid in secret. They built a full-scale replica of the compound. Every detail of the operation was planned. The risks were enormous, including a crash. Failure could have devastating consequences. On the night of May 1, 2011, U.S. time, the raid began. It was May 2nd in Pakistan. Two specially modified stealth helicopters took off. They flew low into Pakistani airspace. They aimed to avoid detection by radar. In the White House Situation Room, leaders watched. Section 7. Geronimo Ikia, Confirmation and Global Reactions. The SEALs quickly confirmed the kill. The code words flashed back to Washington. Geronimo Ikia, enemy killed in action. Geronimo was the code name for Bin Laden. A wave of relief swept through the Situation Room. The 10-year hunt was finally over. The mission had been a success. The world's most wanted terrorist was dead. A few hours later, President Obama addressed the nation. He spoke late on a Sunday night. He announced that Osama Bin Laden was dead. He detailed the daring raid in Pakistan. The news spread rapidly across the globe. In the United States, spontaneous celebrations erupted. People gathered outside the White House. They chanted USA, USA with joy. Global reactions to Bin Laden's death were mixed. Many world leaders praised the operation. They saw it as a victory for justice. They hoped it would weaken global terrorism. Section 8. The Lingering Shadow. Bin Laden's Legacy and the Evolving Terror Threat. Osama bin Laden's death was a major blow. It significantly weakened al-Qaeda's central leadership. The organization lost its iconic founder. Its ability to plan large-scale attacks diminished. Many key operatives had been killed or captured. The core group was severely degraded. However, this was not the end of terrorism. The threat did not disappear overnight. Bin Laden's ideology, Salafi jihadism, persisted. It continued to inspire other extremist groups. New organizations emerged, sometimes more brutal. The Islamic State, or ISIS, rose to prominence. They capitalized on instability in Iraq and Syria. They attracted fighters from around the world. Al-Qaeda affiliates also remained active. The fight against terrorism had to adapt. The nature of the terrorist threat has evolved. Large, centrally planned attacks became harder. Terror groups encouraged lone wolf attacks. These are harder to detect and prevent. Online radicalization became a major concern.